All right, in this episode, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of the ABCA convention.
And how we have the only Olympic lifting station in the ABCA convention.
We got Matt Bruce, Stephen Godani here. Hopefully you can hear us. Our mic disappeared, so we're going off the camera's mic. Here at the ABCA convention, we're going to do this for the Top Lossy #VentureTip show. We're kind of getting behind on the show, so hang in there with us. But we're just going to kind of talk about our experience here at the show, kind of give that back to you. I think this show for me was a good experience coming here. I think there's a lot of good baseball minds here, but I think the most disappointing thing has been, one thing bringing Matt in, is that there's just not enough education on strength and conditioning. And I want Matt to kind of elaborate on that. I'm going to first tell a story. It was interesting coming in. Matt said, how many barbell companies are here? Because I had already been here setting up. And I told him 0. It's just amazing that with all the vendors here, there isn't a demand for selling weights and loading that help develop explosive athletes. And you think that to be a market for that in a sport that has a power aspect, power hitting, power pitches. And there's no barbell companies here. We're probably the only vendor to have actually an Olympic lifting station here, educating those in Olympic lifting. You want to add anything to that, like your experience?
Yeah, I've been to many conferences, whether it be for football or other sports, and every single one of those, probably 25% of the booths are going to be Rogue or Sorinex or some big-time barbell company, because strength conditioning is so important to them. And yet it blows my mind that strength conditioning is nowhere to be found in this whole arena. The huge strength conditioning that we did find were like band work and stuff like that I consider auxiliary or assistant exercise for rehab or something like that. They're trying to use it for strength and conditioning, which blows my mind.
Yeah, it's just been a shocking experience, but hopefully, and I think Matt kind of sees it, that if we keep pushing, specifically with Olympic lifting and trying to educate those, maybe this will change. Maybe it'll change. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think it just really reinforced how far behind baseball is in the strength and conditioning world. Just going to see the speaker, their big speaker talk on strength and conditioning, and seeing kind of what baseball is using for strength and conditioning, and just how far behind, how much stuff is out there saying that like Olympic lifting is bad. The speaker was kind of saying don't do it with your pitchers and stuff like that. So it was just interesting how they're trying to go about. It's starting to come in, like with the coaches that are coming by, you talk to them and they say, yeah, we do strength training, we've got a strength coach, like we're doing some cleans and stuff like that, but it just really brings about the question, like how are you guys doing training? I was telling like Brett and Matt, like I want to like tell them, like are you guys training like girls, or are you guys starting to train like men? Are you starting to lift some heavy weight, or are you guys still doing the 2 dumbbells in the hand and lunges and stuff like that? So I think baseball's starting to go in the right direction, but like they're saying, there's just nobody here aside from us who's really talking about the Olympic lifting and pushing heavy weight and doing the cleans and training to develop power.
Yeah, and if you're just jumping into this, go back and watch all the previous episodes of the show, specifically the one with Matt and I talking about the importance of Olympic lifting for baseball players. And I think you'll get a good understanding of what we're talking about if you're kind of coming into this late. But we're just reflecting on being here at the ABCA convention. I mean, it's been a great convention. There's a lot of coaches here. We've talked to a lot of great coaches. We've even talked to them about their strength development. We've talked to them a lot more about the biomechanics as well, but also we do a Top Lossy. I mean, anything you want to share about just interacting with the coaches here? Do you feel like maybe they're open to bringing in more Olympic lifting, or do you still feel they're just very uneducated and they need to be caught up?
I feel like the biggest thing is the education. You ask them, are you doing any Olympic lifts? And they say, yeah, we do some cleans. And that's about all that they know about their training. And it's kind of unfortunate that they're not taking more of a first-hand approach and knowledge base of their training. And what I found out mostly is people are scared to do it, not because they're scared that the Olympic list will hurt their athletes, but they're scared because they don't know how to teach it. And they don't know how to progress correctly. They don't know the correct volume and intensity and how to ease an athlete into the lifts instead of just having them max out on cleans on the first day. Yeah, they're going to hurt themselves if they come out and max out the first day or in the first couple of weeks. But if they learn a smart training progression, something similar like what you use with Top Velocity, that's going to go leaps and bounds than just throwing in snatches, cleans, and jerks into a program and not knowing how to program it with the right loads. So I think the biggest thing is yeah, there needs to be more education out there. Let people know that yes, it is safe, and you know, just get out there more and research it more for themselves. And it's kind of a challenge to us now, I guess, that we got to teach them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's our place in all this, is continuing to educate them on this approach. Because why are we wasting our time? It's because there's no better form of enhancing mechanical power or muscular power and also dynamic athletic performance than with Olympic lifting. It's by far superior to any other approach, right? It's far superior to heavy load deadlifting, heavy load squatting, and then plyometric jumping to try to convert that to power. You're just not going to have the same results as a clean and jerk or a snatch.
It blew my mind yesterday in the strength and conditioning talk that the guy gave. He said that I don't need to do Olympic lifts. I can create just as amount of force using med balls and jumping activities, which blows my mind because I would love to put a force plate and measure the actual peak force and velocity created compared between a clean and the triple extension of a clean and the peak power output that's there compared to a med ball throw that they're talking about. I guarantee you, I don't know, 15, 20 times more force and power is created using a clean than any kind of med ball or jumping activity.
It's laughable. Like, my favorite thing to say is when people come up to me and they're like, well, I've got the next best thing for making you more explosive. And I say, well, first thing I say, well, are the Olympians using it? Because if it was, they would be using it, right? Because obviously their lifts are the best thing to enhance power because your sport is purely built on power. Of course, technique allows you to convert more of that power into the bar, but it's purely built on power. So if it was really that effective enhancing power, wouldn't you guys be using it?
Right.
So what things do Olympians use outside of the lifts that really help in enhancing more of that athleticism and that power? There's not really much, is there?
There are, and we do plyometric drills. It's not like all I do is snatches, cleans, and jerks, and squatting, and then I walk home, right? We do a lot of auxiliary exercises. We do step-ups. We do single-legged activities. We do a lot of plyometric drills and jumping drills. All these are very important, but our core base lifts are built around the Olympic lifts and the squats and deep squats at that. Those are the core lifts, and then everything else needs to be built around what's your weaknesses. And just like baseball, it needs to be the core lifts in baseball, and then you build out whatever additional that athlete needs to transition that power into their pitching or their hitting or whatever their skill is.
The guy at the strength and conditioning thing too was saying, for his athletes, he said if a position player comes in and can show him that he has good technique, a position player, and he has good technique with the power clean, he'll let him do it. But he says absolutely not for a pitcher, and I just thought that was like beyond me. And he said he does cleans and stuff too himself. And I just don't get where he's coming from with that. He said it just puts too much stress on the shoulder and the elbow and the wrist. And from my experience with cleaning and all the experience Brent has with his guys and with Matt, like it's just really like, I don't know, baffling to me that they're saying that this is putting too much stress on the shoulder and the arm and stuff like that, leading to injury. And what's your guys' opinion on that?
Well, grab my book. So we've been here, you know, kind of ready for those questions, and so I put together a little book here, Olympic Lifting Science for Baseball. I mean, if anyone wants these sent to them, you know, it's just great to have some studies here, and you know, I've used these before, but basically the studies are that if done correctly, it's the least amount of injury in all recreational sports. The injury rates with an elite Olympic lifters in a 6-year study were 3.3 injuries per 1,000 hours. None of the injuries were typical or they were typical of any other sport injury. Strains, sprains, tendonitis were the most common injuries. No pattern of injury, and safe for youth. So it's really not there if supervised. I mean, and I think the reason they're scared of pitchers is because pitchers have such weak shoulders and upper bodies, but that's not a reason to handicap somebody.
Don't stop, baby.
And there's a progression to taking someone who's weak into an Olympic lifting approach. Yeah, so I mean, there really isn't anything in science showing that there's any concern. I think just like we're saying with the pitchers, it's the fact that they're just weak and they're typically weak in their shoulders. But that's not a reason to throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right, and so like I challenged the guy yesterday, as I said, is it the lifts that are dangerous, or is it poor coaching that makes them dangerous? And in the end, he said, yes, if I could be more one-on-one or be more small groups with my athletes, and I could spend more time with them, I would be doing the Olympic lifts with them, but I just can't do that with a mass group of kids. Well, to me, what that tells me is that he's scared to do it. I mean, you give me a room full of probably 100 kids, and I can teach them safely, right? But it's because I learned the correct methods. I wasn't scared to learn them. There are ways that you can teach this safely in groups, but you got to be taught correctly how to do it.
Right, so that's kind of what we got out of the ABCA convention. So there's a lot more great things. I think I'll throw in some other great things was a lot of cool technologies here. There's a lot of cool technology that is in what we do and just making it easier to get more instruction. Obviously biomechanical technology for all different skills. Really cool ways to use some of the equipment we use every day. But I'm still really kind of disappointed in the fact that there's just a poor level of education around the sport still. And I'm hoping in the future we can push for that. Matt and I would like to be speaking next year to try to speak and educate more on Olympic lifting. Maybe we can kind of break through this conventional wisdom and change the mindset around this game, because I think it would be very beneficial. Am I correct? It's going to be very beneficial to the athletes, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Hopefully they give us the opportunity to speak, and we're not going there. I want to hear the challenging questions. I want them to ask the challenging questions because research shows that it is extremely safe to do these lifts. And so hopefully they give us the opportunity, and we will shine.
All right, so if anyone knows anyone out there at ABCA wants to get this opportunity, please give us the opportunity. But thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on the next episode. We're going to get caught up on everybody's questions now that we're getting back from the ABCA, and see you guys soon. Thanks.
Yeah. Holla, we them boys. Holla, we them boys.